So then we continued on with our schooling for a while, and then I wanted to get into the Naval or the Army Air Force. I couldn't pass the physical for, I couldn't pass the IFE chart for a fighter pilot in the Navy, and so I found out that they had a program for liaison pilot training where you fly light planes, small planes, and spot artillery fire for the Army artillery, and you could wear glasses. So I tried that and got accepted on that program, and that's how I ended up in the Army. And Jack Nolan, he went into the Navy and became a Marine eventually, and was killed in Okinawa during the war. But I was sent back to Tonkawa, Oklahoma for flight training, and so I got on a train and went back, and they let me off at a little town in Kansas. And when I got off, and I was supposed to catch a bus there, and so when I got off the train, I went into the depot, and there were signs: white waiting room, black waiting room. And this is the first time I'd seen such overt discrimination. I'd never seen that in California. But anyway, I caught a bus down to Tonkawa, and that's where I had a wonderful time learning how to fly. We went to night school at Northern Oklahoma Junior College, and I was studying navigation and flight rules and regulations and the theory of flight and that sort of stuff. And we learned to use fly the L4, or the Piper Cub airplane, they call it. And it was probably one of the happiest times of my life. I soloed in 7.5 hours, and I got to fly at any time I wanted, and I would go down on Sundays when nobody else was around, and I could check out an airplane and fly, and I took every advantage of that I could, and I just had a wonderful time flying around clouds and that sort of thing, and learning how to spin the airplane and recover from a spin. And I looped it one time and just had more fun than I can tell you. So anyway, that's what happened there. And so then I was sent home to wait for a reassignment to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, which is an artillery base. And while I was home, I got a letter from the Army saying that they had decided they had enough pilots and didn't need any more. And so there were about 5 of us in San Diego. We all got the letter that we could have a discharge from the Army if we wanted. But I figured that during the war I didn't want to get discharged and then have to be drafted or something. So I elected to go to airplane mechanic school and actually aerial gunnery training, which I then did following that work. So
you went to mechanic school first or gunnery school first?
Mechanic school first, yeah. And we went to Amarillo, Texas, and probably, I don't know how many months we were there, but we learned how to tear down an engine on a B-17 bomber and rebuild it, and how to work on propeller systems, hydraulic propellers, and so on. And then after that training, then we were sent to Las Vegas, Nevada, to the Las Vegas Army Air Base, and learned aerial gunnery there. We had to learn how to take the 50 caliber machine gun completely apart in all its pieces while we're blindfolded, and then rebuild it all blindfolded. And then we went out to gunnery range, and the most fun part of that training was we had to stand up in back of a pickup truck, and it had a ring about this big around, you fit your body into this ring and standing up, and then you go down this winding road, and they would fire off clay pigeons from these various small, what they call houses, and we'd shoot at them, and simulating being in a bomber shooting against a German fighter plane.
So as the truck's moving down this curvy road, you're standing in the ring. And
We're standing up and shooting a shotgun at the clay pigeons going this way, and we're traveling this way. So you had to allow for the forward movement of the truck, and so on, which is the same as being in a bomber, flying straight and level and having a fighter plane come in sideways, and you are relatively flying faster this direction than he is, so you have to shoot behind him for the bullets to carry toward the plane. So that was the theory behind that. So
then when you were finally assigned, where did you go?
well, then when we got finished all our training, we were sent to Sioux City, Iowa, and we were trained as a crew. Guys from all over came together at that point, and so we met our pilot and our navigator and our bombardier and the radio operator and the waist gunners and the tail gunner and the ball turret gunner and me. There were 10 of us signed on this crew, but eventually they decided they only needed 9 because they didn't need 2 men on each waist parts of the airplane, because wouldn't expect to have 2 fighter planes coming in from both sides. So we ended up with a 9-member crew, and we trained there for quite a while, learning how to fly formations with other planes and so on. And then we were sent overseas.